It has been 5 years since we've gotten to this point, but it is time to crown ourselves a Season 3 Krispy Kreme National Series champion. We started the season back at Daytona in February, and now here in September, we end the season at Atlanta Speedway, the old Atlanta, and we have a 5-way fight for the championship, but it's really going to come down to Chris Jericho and Caleb Rose if nothing crazy happens. 50 laps on tap, one more race winner to decide a Drivers' Champion and a Owners' Championship to be crowned. It is Championship weekend for the Krispy Kreme National Series, and it is the Krispy Kreme 300 underneath the lights at Atlanta Speedway. What's up everyone, it's Boy Race 97 aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome back to Atlanta for the second time this season. The last time we were here was race 2, all the way at the start of the year, and at that point we didn't know who was going to be contending for this championship. And well, at the end of the season, at the end of the chase, we now know who is at a chance to have the title. Technically it is 5, but really we gotta focus on 2, maybe 3 here tonight. We gotta see what ends up happening underneath the light this time instead of in the sun of Atlanta. And we gotta see what ends up happening. We got a packed booth here. We got Matthew Cooper up here, the owner of Logan Williams, and William Ayers and Matthew Burnett, and trying to win the Owners' Championship this season. And then we got the driver that won the JBL Cup Series Championship 1 year ago of Josh Ransom. Welcome to Atlanta, welcome to Championship Night in the Krispy Kreme National Series.
Wow. Great to be at this point. 2 of the best drivers, arguably, on the season, going out there. 6 points between Caleb Rose and Chris Jericho. May the best guy win. Sucks that Logan Williams couldn't be a part of this championship battle. Had things gone different, maybe. But it's gonna be interesting to see how the championship will play out.
Yeah, Logan Williams would pretty much have to wreck out for him to have a shot at this one today. But, as you said, the top 2, Jericho and Rose, are in a dead heat. Ward's 25 behind, so it's going to be a little more difficult for him. But got to watch out for him as well to get up there. Watch out for that 5 to be strong. He has been strong in this chase. But Jericho, the championship favorite, starting from the outside lane. Rose, I believe, is starting from the outside lane as well. Logan, still barely mathematically in it. He needs a maxi scenario to happen. Max points, and he needs Jericho and Rose to fall out of the race. He needs Jericho specifically to finish last. So, we'll see what happens here. He's had a great season. He's got the best average finish coming in at... actually, no, he does not. He had the best average finish for most of the year. He's now down to 11.7. Jericho's at 10.3. But we'll see what happens here. 50 laps on the docket. A lot can happen in those 50 laps. And I'm certainly excited, Nathan, to get it started.
Absolutely, it's been a fantastic season. It's been a lot of fun, and it is kind of a toss-up of what has been the best season of the best series this season. A couple of National Series. I've enjoyed the National Series a ton. Pretty much 99% guarantee that I'll be able to bring this series back next year, because this has been a lot of fun, and we gotta see if what ends up happening. And of course, like you said, Caleb Logan Williams still has a tiny chance at the championship, but after the year he had, that is really disappointing for him. He is still at points back mathematically with a chance, but like you said, he needs Chris Jericho to finish last and not get a single lap-led bonus point, and Caleb Rose needs to finish 35th and not get a single bonus point led either, and then maybe Logan Williams will have a shot, same as Jordan Stout. But the main 3 that we have to worry about all start on the outside lane, and Chris Jericho starts right behind Caleb Wills, so at the start he will be 4 points behind. And then Duncan Ward has been really hot as of late in the chase, kind of too hot, too late, but got a second place at Texas, won last week at Mullinsville, and he starts second here tonight in that number 5 machine. And we gotta see what ends up happening. Here is the top 10, and actually the top 12 of the chase for the final time. Chris Jericho only has a 6-point lead over Caleb Wills in second, Duncan Ward in third, 25 points behind. Then Jordan Stout, minus 38, and Logan Williams, minus 39. Nick Lopez, minus 54, could have a chance to be top 5 in the point standings. William Ayers in 7th, minus 55. Felicity Mendoza, minus 63. Avery Alford, minus 84. Ben Watson, minus 96. Juan Duane, minus 106. And then Alexander Lowe round out the top 12, 129 points behind. And we do have that best of the West title. Kind of interesting. Mamo has 502. Aaron Abel has 497. And Mon Garcia has 491. We gotta see what ends up happening with that. And we also have the Orange title on the line. And it's gonna be tight between Alpha Prime Racing and Matthew Hubert's team and RSS Racing and one of those teams. Both of those teams have been strong all year. And it's gonna be close on how that goes as well. But here is the final time on the season, the top 10 for the Krispy Kreme 300. Roberto Crown Jr. and Duncan Ward, these two last battled at Texas 2 weeks ago, and Crown was able to hang on and get his first win on the channel, and now he gets his third pole on the season, and then is a trio of college racing drivers of Anthony Hernandez, Eric Monaco, and Jordan Stout ran out the top 5. Charlie Davenport with a good qualifying run in 6th, Felicity Mendoza in 7th, William Ayers in 8th, and then Angel Gutierrez in 9th, and Caleb Wills, who will start the race at the line with a 4-point advantage over Chris Jericho right behind him. And then you see back in the middle of the grid, Logan Williams still with a chance at the championship, but needs everything to go his way here tonight. 50 laps on tap here in the season finale for the Krispy Kreme National Series. And Matthew and then Josh, who do you think will win the race, and who do you think will win the Season 3 championship?
First off, I am going for the championship pick. It probably a bit of a long shot, but Caleb Rose will win the championship with 6 points is manageable. As for the race winner, I'm looking at that 29 of Felicity Mendoza.
Not bad, good pick. But I'm gonna go a step behind you in the field for the race win. I'm gonna go back to 9th. I'm gonna say Angel Gutierrez is gonna win this race. But the champion, well, Rose is starting in a pretty good spot. Jericho starts right behind him, though. And given the craziness of Atlanta Motor Speedway, just because he's starting behind a Rose does not mean he's at a disadvantage. Like Nathan said, there's going to be a lot of really hectic racing. He was telling us right before we started recording that there's going to be a lot of chaos through the first 10 laps of the race. Once you get through the chaos, you're probably good. Jericho's done that better than just about anyone else this year, so look for Chris Jericho to capture the cup tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
He's been arguably the best driver in the chase per se, and we gotta see what ends up happening. Thank you guys for a fantastic season number 3. Crazy that we brought this series back the first time in 5 years, and I'm glad to bring him back next year as well. But it'll be Roberto Crown Jr. and Duncan Ward leading us to the green, and we're racing for the final time of the season for the Krispy Kreme 300 at Atlanta.
How about that launch on the inside by Roberto Crown Jr. on the start? Here comes the 16 of Anthony Hernandez into second on the inside of Duncan Ward. Stout right behind as they round turn 3 and 4. It's a land rush out into the front straightaway.
Lap number 1 will be led by Roberto Clandrini, and like I've said many times before, these guys will slip and slide all over the
Slipping back
place,
there.
especially in 1 and 2. You can run it everywhere, and these guys gotta manage with tires. This is all Atlanta. 2 seconds of tire fall off, and it's really gonna be good. We're gonna feel like a rocket ship for the first 10 laps, but after that, the tires are gonna drop off like a rock.
Man, I would not want to be around where William Ayers or Aaron Abel would be right now. You would have to hold your position ASAP, because if you don't, and with the tire fall off, you might be screwed for the race. Speaking of which, where is our championship contenders? Okay,
Boy,
Jericho got
already
to the
got down to
outside
the
lane.
inside.
Jericho got to the outside lane, Rose did not.
And Rose is in the middle of 3 wide, and that's not what that 38 wants to see. Back up flying. I didn't know that we were back at Texas. This is basically what happened late in that one. It was Crown Junior versus Duncan Ward, and the guys are side by side again. And I will say, the points as they won will be in the top right corner of the screen here for both National and Cup. And unlike Texas, we can really see these guys hanging tough on the outside lane, and that's what Crown Junior is trying to do here in 1 and 2.
And doing a great job of it so far here on lap number 5. Ward sweeps into the lead, but down to the inside again comes Crown side by side for the lead once again into turn number 3. Fantastic racing in the early laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but that pack in the middle of the field as Ward slips by on the outside clearing, that pack is starting to spread out a little bit. Rose now all by his lonesome. He's looking to charge his way up through the field and gain some ground that he's lost on Jericho. Jericho is already up in the 9th position, just ahead of the 44 of Logan Williams, who started 19th in this one. He's on his way up. I wonder if he's gonna give Jericho a little how do you do here, because like we said, Logan Williams literally needs Jericho to wreck out, and then he needs to charge up and have a maxi points night. He's going to go to the inside of Jericho. Looks like he's going to get around, potentially get around the 8 car, but a good charge on the outside by Jericho. And he's got he's got a freight train up on the outside. We'll see how beneficial it is for Logan Williams, or if it's more beneficial for Jericho to have those guys up there. Tried chopping them, but they're still side by side rounding turn 4.
Not sure how long it's going to be until Williams does get by the 8 there. And it's a 4-position gap between Jericho and Rose right now, but if Rose gets by Juan Garcia and both Ayers and Logan Williams get by Jericho, that will be only 1 car between them now, with Charlie Davenport in the number 2. So it would be 7 points if that were the case right now. But Chris Jericho using the outside lane to his advantage early on.
Absolutely, and Logan's going to try and do a little bit of a slide drop / give some dirty air to Chris Jericho. And the good thing for Jericho, he has that 6-point buffer, and he is ahead of Caleb Bulls right now. But you gotta have the long one call here tonight. It's only 9 laps in of 28, and like I said, this is the best that these tires are gonna feel all race long, really, and you gotta make the most of it early on. When it's to the inside of Chris Jericho, nothing really happening up front, as Duncan Ward and Crown Junior have pulled away slightly. Able on the move on the 97 of Monaco. Caleb Bowles trying to fight off Matthew Burnett in the 43 back here. But right now it's looking good for Jericho. Got about 4 positions ahead, 3 positions ahead of Caleb Bowles at the moment. We're going side by side with Brad Loreen. But meanwhile, this is what I like about Atlanta. Duncan Ward running the high side, Crown Junior running the low lane, and he's starting to close back in on our race leader.
It is a 2-car joust up front. The 16 of Anthony Hernandez stuck in the throes with Jordan Stout there, the 11, not able to pull away from that car. The 29 there, that is Felicity Mendoza, sits in the 5th position, and a dive to the inside by the 39. That's Aaron Abel, and 3 wide as Rose goes to the inside of Charlie Davenport and Juan Garcia. And Davenport's going to fall back. Garcia, they're still side by side. Well, charging on the outside, Davenport there. Here comes the 43 of Matthew Burnett as well. A 4-car joust back here for I believe this is for the 11th position. It's for 12th position on the racetrack. Jericho is watching this in his mirror, and he's sitting pretty saying, guys, keep it up. He's just pulling away from Rose. That's what he wants Garcia to do. Those are teammates, by the way.
Not only that, but he's might be looking to try and get by William Ayers for a bit there. He's still in the 10th, 11th position right now, and Bradley Ream in the 28 right ahead of him for the 10th position should he get to the outside lane. Not quite.
Oh, crossover.
Still looking to try and get by the 45, but weird thing is, the outside lane seems to have a bit of an advantage down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I think that's kind of different than what we saw here in the spring in the sun, when the sun was out during the daytime. It looks like the outside lane has a little bit more of a competitive edge to it. But some great racing here tonight at Atlanta, and this is why, in my opinion, they should have repaved it. Caleb Rose with a slide drop on Juan Garcia, that is important. And right now he is almost there with Chris Jericho, and right now it would be about a 8-point difference between Jericho and Caleb Rose. Meanwhile, we got some movers up to the front, like the 11 and the 16 starting to break away, and Abel on the move as well. And we gotta mention the timer is about 2 seconds, and it's really starting to take into effect. Logan Williams trying to fight tough on the outside for the 7th position. And so far, so good for Duncan Ward. He's doing all he can do. He has a lot of laps so far. He's going to leave the most laps. But with Jericho running in 10th and Rose not too far behind in 12th, this isn't going to really matter for Duncan Ward as the championship. But he's trying to get win number 4. And he's trying to go back to back to end the season. And technically, he's trying to get the most wins out of anyone in the National Series with 4. Duncan Ward and Logan Williams have 3, and right now Duncan might get win number 4 on the season.
Give a call again, though, to Aaron Abel, running in the 7th position. Look who's running in the 5th. The guy he's battling for the best of the rest title, Eric Monaco. Again, shout out to Monaco as well. He's having a great start to the night. We're about 10, 12 laps away from the first pit cycle. We'll see what Abel can do until then. He's had a great run so far as these guys battle. Again, they're 5 points apart. 502 to Monaco, 497 for Abel. So Abel would need to finish 5 spots ahead of Monaco, and then I believe we turn it over to top 5s or wins. Neither of them have won. Then top 5s, Monaco has 7 to Abel's 3. Abel needs to finish 6 spots ahead of Monaco, and he'd have the best of the rest title. They're having a great run so far here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. There's Caleb Rose sitting in the 7th position, is ahead of him. William Ayers, oh boy, that got wild there for a second with the 31 of Alexander Rowe. Davenport to the 43 of Burnett. 31 was all over the place, but he holds on to it as now this joust goes on for the 15th position between Davenport and Burnett. Davenport doing a great job. He's been up on the outside, or they've been up on the outside all night long. But now slips up, almost catches the wall, just stays off it. And Burnett is going to take that position. And here comes the 00 of Nick Lopez on the inside.
And in case you didn't notice, in terms of the championship there, Chris Jericho got by Bradley Ream for the 9th position rather, right in the back bumper of Logan Williams. So that points gap now is at about 10 or so points between Jericho and Caleb Rose. Duncan Ward leading, that would be about 15 points back. So Duncan Ward still needs a lot to happen if he does want a chance of winning the championship. And speaking of which, we're not too far away from pit cycles.
Absolutely, and about 5 laps until pit stops, and that's going to be very important here tonight. The final one on the season, and we have seen it before. This racetrack tends to have a long green flag feel to it. Last year in the Trivial Cup Series finale, only had 1 caution late, and it was a 60-lap one at the start. So this could go green all the way, but pit road is tricky here at Atlanta, and you gotta see what ends up happening. And for Caleb Rose, you gotta think, I'm not too far behind Chris Jericho here. What do I want to do? What does my team want to do here on this pit stop? Does Jericho to the undercut? Does Rose to the undercut? Does Rose to the overcut? Does Jericho to the overcut? Gotta see what ends up happening here in this one. And how about this scramble from, looks like,
My goodness.
third on back. The top 2 have really pulled away, but we got a scramble from 4th on back to the 9th place spot.
Anthony Hernandez just pulls away ahead of it. Monaco ahead of that. Now that's a joust between the 39 of Aaron Abel and the 11 of Jordan Stout. Here's Logan Williams trying to make it a 3-wide assault heading into turn number 3. And now they get single file. The only one now on the outside there, that's the 29 of Felicity Mendoza. Jericho all over the backside of the 44 of Logan Williams, and now a 2-car joust behind them. That's William Ayers on the 28 of Bradley Ream as they go through turns 1 and 2. Ahead, there's 2 wide once again. Mendoza on the outside of Williams and Jericho. Here comes Abel back down to the inside of Stout as we are just a handful of laps away from the pit cycle. What a fantastic race we are seeing so far here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is a great finale track. There's tire wear comes into play so much the way this track is. This is a great racetrack to end the season. You really are separating the best from all the rest here. Williams and Jericho doing a fantastic job right now maintaining their stuff, and of course Duncan Ward up front has dominated this race so far. Fantastic run for Duncan Ward. Don't know if it's going to be enough to win the championship. We'll see how pit stops go. Hopefully, barring any incident for anybody. Would hate to see a championship won or lost on that. But Roberto Crown Jr. as well. Not in championship contention tonight. 16th in the points. Racing for the best of all the rest championship with Abel, Garcia, and Monaco. Fantastic run for the driver of the 7 car as well. Just past halfway though. We're getting ready to see that pit cycle begin, and we'll see what kind of strategies the teams cook up here. Obviously, we're thinking 4 tires and fuel, but how soon, again, as you said, how soon do you want to come down? Usually, the undercut is the best bet.
I'm not sure. We're right about that window there.
Here they come.
And here comes Duncan Ward and Roberto Crown Jr. down pit road. Does
That's
anyone
right on schedule.
stay out?
Oh,
Monaco
wow.
stays out.
Monaco does.
So does
Jericho's
Logan
in.
Williams.
Jericho's in. Williams stays out. Interesting. And Rose in. I like that move. Look at all that. Hey, you remember how big that gap was between the 38 and the 8? Look at how small it is now. Just like that. He's made up all that time on pit entry. Fantastic pit entry by Caleb Williams. We'll see. Now he's got to rely on the pit crew to get a good stop here.
We'll see how long it takes for these guys to get their stops done. Off the right side for Crown. There goes Duncan Ward off pit road.
Jericho's done.
Jericho's done. Right behind Hernandez.
Rose is done.
So...
Oh, it's going to be close.
Oh.
It's going to be close on this stint. This is going to be really interesting.
Okay. He's just ahead of Felicity Mendoza. And now here comes Williams, Eric Monaco, and the rest of them.
I like this call. I like what the top two on the racetrack did of Duncan Ward and Roberto Jr. just pit when the leader pits, and I really like what Caleb did. He got one heck of a pit road entry, like you said, Josh, and he closed in massively, and the pit crews were pretty even here in that one. So it's gonna be interesting.
Everybody did their job.
They did their job, and it all comes down to Caleb and it all comes down to the drivers, and we gotta watch out for this a little bit.
Oh boy!
Contact.
Watch the blend line, guys. Watch the blend line.
Ayers.
Watch the blend line as well. That could have been really bad for William Ayers. Hopefully he doesn't get black flagged for that. That was a sketchy move by Bradley Ream on the inside.
Yeah, that is something that we tend to be aware of, but it looks like we have made it through pit stops, and I will say, Jericho got a better pit road exit than Caleb Bowles, and look at that gap. It's only one car separating them, but Rose is really far behind that 8 machine. And look at Duncan Ward, he got one heck of a pit stop as well. He's gonna have a 3-second lead over Roberto Crown Jr.
I honestly thought Caleb Rose was going to be a lot closer than he's ended up being. It's 5.1 seconds back for Jericho to Ward, and then Caleb Rose is a little over 2.5 seconds back from him there. Of course, again, battling with Jericho's teammate, Juan Garcia. So you got to think team orders are going to come into play here. Garcia's going to do everything he can to hold up that 38 car. And with how spread out the field is now, I'd be hard-pressed if we got I'd be hard-pressed to see a caution come out here. I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, there goes Rose sliding up. Boy, they may have messed up the handling on that. That may give the championship to Jericho indeed. We'll see if Jericho's just got to nurse it home. He doesn't have to push it all that hard now. Don't strain any parts in that car. We'll see what he does here in this final 17 laps here, the Krispy Kreme 300.
And if Jericho does fall behind Eric Monaco, he still has at
And right now, Rose is going to be ahead of Juan Garcia, but these two are still battling for what will be a top 5 spot for 4th. And Chris Jericho's going to keep it. And I will say, if only Duncan Ward was a little bit closer, who knows what the championship would be. And I don't know what happened to Logan Williams in the 44. He had an oil leak. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
A fuel leak last week at Monster.
That just caps it off, doesn't it? The collapse is complete for Logan Williams.
Wow. Story of
2 laps
chase.
down.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that just capped it off, didn't it, Matthew?
Man.
I'm so sorry for you.
I just disconnected for a bit.
Jeez, dude.
And not only that, Williams has a problem. Well, we'll see what happens now. Caleb Rose getting passed by Juan Garcia, maybe Jordan Stout. How about Alexander Rowe in the top 10 late in the going there? It has been a tumultuous 8 race chase rather for this Furry 1 team, and a good way to cap off the season.
Absolutely a tough 7 races of the chase for Alexander Rowe, but a good pit stop from him, and he's in position to round out the year with the top 10. And you did mention about keeping the parts all together, Josh. And we've seen here at Atlanta before, especially in the JBL 500, motor issues can happen, and we've always seen car issues happen now with Logan Williams. So we gotta see how it all plays out. I will give a shout to the number 1 of Eli Blight, just outside of the top 10 in 12th. Great one from Charlie Davenport, once again, running in 13th. Angel Gutierrez and William Ayers, top 15. Durrani, Burnett, Lopez, Weem, Benjamin Amari Jr. in his final start. It's not been a good season from him, as he will not return next year in the 20th position. And we gotta see how it all plays out. But we are winding down here in this one. And Duncan Ward now has a 5-second lead almost over the field. That 5 car late in the season is bad fast. Could have won Texas and theory could have ended the season with 3 straight wins here in the National Series. But it's going to be 11 laps to go for Duncan Ward. He's caught to some lap traffic. The 44 is going to be on flush with tires with that oil leak. But has caught up to the 92, 07, and the 35. And it's looking good for Jericho, running in the 4th position. And Caleb Rose running in the 9th position.
Of course, Rose is going to be torturing his tires going around the banking, trying to get around these cars that are around him. Stout, Garcia, and Abel. Garcia, I know you focused on it a few laps ago. He was literally basically blocking Caleb Rose going around the corner, and I guess those team orders are really coming into play here. But there's Eli Bright on the charge on Alexander Rowe. Cross to the inside by Stout on Garcia. Garcia is not going to make it stick on the inside. Here comes Stout, and you gotta believe Rose. Oh, he didn't get there. Stout couldn't hold it. Here comes Rose down to the inside. As now we're just under 9 laps to go in the season. Rose slips up off the bottom. He's going to lose some more ground on Garcia. And Jericho 5.7 seconds behind Ward. Last time through, Rose 9.3. And he still can't get around Stout and Garcia. Clock is ticking on this season. And clock is ticking to midnight. It's about to hit midnight on Caleb Rose's championship hopes. Again, credit to Duncan Ward, though. Came in as a championship contender, 25 points back, needed a lot to go right. He's done everything he's needed to do. A la Carl Edwards in 2008. He dominated the Ford 400, but Jimmy Johnson had an insurmountable point lead going into that race. Much like this, Duncan Ward has looked flawless tonight. Started up on the outside pole, has led just about every single lap of this race. Just been untouchable. But unfortunately, you gotta be thinking you need Jericho to wreck out, you need Caleb Rose, something happened to him. You need a lot to go right here. And it could still happen maybe in these final few laps, but I don't think so. I think Jericho's pretty well got this in the bag. He's keeping his nose clean. He's not going to overheat the car. He's not being super aggressive. Of course, he doesn't have to. He's just looking for some brownie points right now. Looking to round the season with a podium by getting around teammate Roberto Crown Jr. if he can. Big dive into turn number 3 behind Eric Monaco, who, by the way, looks like he is indeed going to win the Best of the Rest title. So congratulations to that 97 team. Jolly good season.
And wow, Duncan Ward. I tell you, if this team with Andrew Williams as the teamer remains together next year, Duncan Ward might be a championship. As if he's not already a championship contender. Had things gone his way, he might have had a more secure shot at winning the championship. And drives like this is why he won the Wawa Cup Series title.
Absolutely. If he did the last 3 weeks for the first 5 races of the chase, then Duncan Ward would be a massive contender, more than what he already was, being 25 points back. He would probably be about where Caleb Rose was, and then that would have gotten interesting. But it's gonna be, oh my goodness, Jericho about gone to the lap car of Pat Lansing Jr. the 92 off turn 4. Cannot be doing that for Jericho. He is in a comfortable spot for this championship with 2.5 laps to go, and minutes gonna get out of the way. And right now it's gonna be Duncan Ward with a huge lead. But how about Monaco? Like you said, Josh, gonna be 13th in the point stands, but he might get 2nd in the season. He's another driver. He might get 2 top 5s in the last 3 races.
Oh, Jericho's going to go down to the inside. The 07 Ryan Kendall held Monaco up just enough. And slipping back on the outside, Jericho, they're side by side. We're going to have a great finish here for second. Duncan Ward's getting ready to take the white flag, 6.6 seconds ahead of this. He's got that clean air up until he gets to the 14 of the 44, but he's just got to cruise home from here. White flag at Atlanta.
The Power 1 to go here for the Krispy Kreme 300. A dominant performance, a 7-second lead for Duncan Ward in the number 5. Still side by side for second. Looks like Jericho might be able to get here. But off of turns 3 and 4, a second at Texas, a win at Martinsville. And Duncan Ward is going to end the season with back-to-back wins. And Duncan Ward will win the Krispy Kreme 300 by 7+ seconds. And with a second place one, doing all he has to do, Chris Jericho is the 2025 and Season 3 Krispy Kreme National Series champion.
Wow.
That was a dominating performance by both of them.
What a way
Duncan
to end
Ward
the
and Chris
season
Jericho.
there for both of them. Great to see Chris Jericho win the title there. And wow. What a way to do it. Doing everything right there. It's going to be about a 14-point gap between himself and Caleb Rose. Shame that Caleb Rose didn't have enough to get to that 8, but he'll have next year to do it, I'm sure.
Man, what a great race, too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It really was. Fantastic race. What a great way to end the season.
Oh yeah, minus, Duncan Ward having a 7-second lead. That was absolutely
That's
wild.
just impressive.
That's
just impressive. That's a thing to look forward to for next season. That team is going to be on fire next year.
Absolutely. Duncan Ward with a second, first, and first in the final 3 races. We'll see if Duncan Ward and Andy Williams sit together. I know they like working together in multiple series, so if that ends up being the case, then Duncan could be another title contender next year. But what a race, like you said, multi-group racing all over the place here tonight at Atlanta, and we didn't have any cautions. And that was there was a chance for yellow, but there ended up not being one. But we didn't need one. Came down to the wire for the title and the race, and a great battle for second, really, between Jericho, Monaco, and Roberto Clown Jr. Hernandez in 5th, Abel in 6th, Garcia, Stout. Rose is going to be second in the point standings, but he's going to get a 17th top 10. And then Eli Bright will come home in the 10th position. Shout out to Charlie Davenport getting a 13th place one. Especially, and then everyone else inside the top 15, we kind of expect that to be the case. Mendoza, well, with a bounce back way to end the season in 12th. Burnett and Ayers round out the top 15. It's going to be close, but I think it might be Alpha Prime getting the owner's title. Not entirely sure until post-edit, but definitely going to be interesting on that. And then, unfortunately, 5-6 riders finished a lap down. Keegan Thompson, Brian Beal, Ryan Dwyer, Bronson Bennett, Hallie Anderson Jr., and then Logan Williams. Second week in a row. Last week he had a fuel leak. This week it was a oil leak, and was 2 laps down, was able to get a lap back with fresher tires. But tough way to the end of the season for Logan Williams when it looked like he was going to be a true title contender just 3 weeks ago here in the Krispy Kreme National Series. But that'll do it for the season. Duncan Ward dominates late with a second, first, and first in the final 3 races, and he wins by 7 seconds. And Chris Jericho, for the first time in 5 years, he is the Krispy Kreme National Series champion. What a little final thoughts on this race and on the return season of the National Series.
Well, let's think ahead to next year just a little bit. When I won the championship of the JBL Cup Series last year, it was the springboard for Logan Williams' hopes for a championship. He won the JBL 500 last year. And Jericho, last year, the Powerade Truck Series, he won the Powerade 250. That was the springboard for his hopes for a championship. Look forward to look at Duncan Ward again. Like I said, this is the springboard for Duncan Ward to win a championship next year. I'm calling it now. Duncan Ward is going to be on fire next year. Absolutely watch that team. But fantastic run by Chris Jericho. Did everything right to keep his nose clean in this race. Just a fantastic drive by that driver, the best one all season long, and absolutely deserving of a champion. Well done, sir.
Well, if RSS does win the owner's title due to unfortunate circumstances, fair play to Ryan Lill there. Your team has really done well this season, and I want to see if at least 3 of these 4 can stay at the team next year, because RSS Racing might be one of the top teams heading into next year as well.
Absolutely. I think we got a lot of competitive driver and team combos. I said all year, this series has been more consistent, more consistently close than the Cup Series this year, and just with how many different winners just tells the story. 9 out of the top 10 in points entering tonight had wins, and then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different winners throughout the 24 race season, if I counted correctly. That is just insane, and we kind of saw that last year with the Powerade Truck Series, and that was the secondary series to the JBL Cup Series. We saw 16 different winners in 20 races. So these secondary series where you got a combination of Cup Series drivers and newer, lower drivers trying to prove themselves. It's a nice combination, and we saw that in the Truck Series last year, and we saw it this year, where 17 out of the 24 races had a different winner. But what a season here in the Krispy Kreme National Series. This was a lot of fun to bring this series back. Has some different races, some standalone races to play along with, and probably going to do the same next year. I'm looking forward to next year's schedule. I'm already in the process of that, kinda. So gotta see how that all plays out. And just huge thanks to everyone that joined me in the booth. There's too many to count, but just so many people joined me up in the booth this year, especially you, Matthew, and Josh. You two joined a lot throughout the season, and just what a season here in the Krispy Kreme National Series. I'm excited for next year for season number 4, and I promise you it won't be another 5-year break for the series, because this was a lot of fun. Congratulations to Duncan Ward with win number 4 and ending the season with 2 wins in a row. He's going to be closer in the point standings, but it's not going to be close enough. And then for Chris Jericho, second in the point standings, only 1 win all season long. And the unique thing about him is that he was quietly consistent throughout the regular season, and won at, I believe, Kentucky. And then he was just ultra consistent, and he hit another gear, and he was even more consistent in the chase, and that's how he won the championship. He was really consistent. Logan Williams had his problems, and Lopez had a couple of issues, and the Cowboys just didn't quite have the car compared to Chris Jericho here tonight, and he is the 2025 and Season 3 champion. Tomorrow night, we will crown a JBL Cup Series Season number 6 champion, and it will either be one of the big 4 this season, I guess you can call it that. It will either be Matthew Hubert, Logan Williams, Stuart Glenn, or Andrew Miller. And the good thing for you, Matthew, you do have a 20-point buffer, but you've seen it before last year in that race. There was a mechanical issue, and that changed some things around there, so we gotta see what ends up happening. Thank you for a great season number 3, and we will see you guys next year for season number 4. Congratulations to Duncan Ward on the race win, and congratulations one final time for Chris Jericho on the 2025 championship. We will see you guys tomorrow night for the JBL 500 in the JBL Cup Series.
I just wanna be victorious. Doesn't matter what my story is. Even when the darkness shines, I'm not gonna lose this fight. I just wanna be victorious. Fire in the flames, it's glorious. Even when the darkness calls, I'm not gonna lose it all. I just wanna be victorious. Us, victorious. Us, victorious. Us, victorious. Us, I just wanna be victorious. Doesn't matter what my story is. Even when the darkness shines, I'm not gonna lose this fight. I just wanna be victorious.